we now bring in Jonathan Fahey, a former federal prosecutor who also once served as the acting director as ICE. Jonathan, thanks for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. I want to start with this appeals court victory. Trump calling this a big win. He can keep control of the National Guard there in California, but Gavin Newsom, the governor, tried to look at this with a little bit of a silver lining. He says the court rightly rejected Trump's claim that he can do whatever he wants with the National Guard. Your thoughts on the court, how they ruled, and what this means for the president?
This was a huge win for President Trump on a couple of fronts. One, on the legality, because President Trump is allowed to deploy the National Guard if there are people interfering with his execution of federal laws. In this case, they were the federal immigration laws. So he won on a 3-judge panel, 3-0 in a traditionally very liberal court. Gavin Newsom's statement is frankly preposterous. They said he can't do whatever he wants. Donald Trump never said he could do whatever he wants. But this is also a major victory on substance because President Trump brought in the National Guard because L.A. was getting out of hand, and L.A. was doing nothing. The local officials were doing nothing to quell the violence. So he put an end to the violence with this. He put public safety ahead of all the politics that's going on there. And the Democrats are always putting illegal aliens ahead of American citizens, plus they're putting criminals ahead of law enforcement. And one of the statements that Mayor Bass gave, I think that was played earlier on Fox and Friends, was pretty astonishing because she said the situation was under control before the National Guard got there. But in fact, the chief of police from Los Angeles made the statement that they were overwhelmed. So overwhelmed is certainly meaning you need some help. Donald Trump gave some help. Things got better. Major win on all fronts for President Trump.
Jonathan, I also want to ask you about how the Trump administration is addressing the issue of migrant workers. The president said yesterday that he's looking into new policies that would have farmers take responsibility for the people that they hire. This is coming after some back and forth as to whether ICE would limit raids on places like hotels and farms. Your thoughts on this?
Well, I really don't think they are going to be focusing on farms and hotels. And the only instances that I'm aware of that they've been doing so when there's other criminal activity involved. So I think they're going to be focusing on the criminals, probably in the sanctuary cities primarily. But I do think it's important that you can't just say there's sort of a blanket amnesty if you're on a farm or anything else, which is really what the prior administration did, was essentially said, once you get in here, absent the most extraordinary circumstances, you are getting de facto citizenship. So I do think they're going to keep the focus on the criminals, but they are being very clear. If you're here illegally, you're not allowed to be here and you need to leave.
Yeah, I think you nailed something there that the administration has tried to offer more clarity on. Tricia McLaughlin, the Assistant Secretary for DHS, saying there will be no safe spaces for industries who harbor violent criminals or purposely try to undermine ICE's efforts, talking about the potential workforce enforcement to come. Lastly, the Trump administration is touting that 0 illegal migrants were released into the U.S. in May. I mean, that's an enormous contrast to the 62,000 that were released at the same time, last year when we look at the Biden administration. Do you think we'll continue to see this? I would say numbers, but it's really a 0.
Yeah, the lack of numbers, and yes, I do, and it really is very interesting in that it shows that President Trump, just his actions and messaging has made this enormous difference. So we really didn't need some major legislative overhaul. But I think a few things that contributed to this: at the border, they've ended catch and release, plus they've reinstituted remain in Mexico. So it makes it harder to get in. Plus, they've also been enforcing internal immigration law by deporting people that are here. So sending the message that if you get here, you're not going to get to stay. And finally, the messaging has been on point. So the deterrence has been strong. And it's interesting how the success at the border has coincided with the Democrats sort of raising their antics and escapades and resistance, really revealing what their message was all the time, which is open borders and amnesty. Because I haven't seen any Democrat commending President Trump and Border Patrol and ICE for these numbers at the border when all of them were saying, at least outwardly, that they were in favor of border security. Now he's given it to them, and no one says anything complimentary about him. So I think it's very revealing, and you do see the increase, the rioting, the rhetoric against ICE is really because they are against Donald Trump's success, and therefore open borders and amnesty, and he's making it much harder for them to achieve their goals.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting as we inch closer to the midterms. Jonathan Fahey, thank you very much, covering a lot of ground for us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.